Are you planning on upgrading from a premium hatchback to a sedan and you're confused? Well, look no further because we have the best of what the C-segment sedan section has to offer. And we're going to be bringing you a comparison video of the Ciaz, the Verna and the Honda City. So do stay tuned. The segment favorite has been the Honda City. However, ever since the new model of the Verna has come in, it has been dominating in this segment. In fact, last month it sold the highest number of units in the country. The Ciaz as well has been consistently clocking a good amount of sales, and for the month of September, the Hyundai Verna sold the most units, followed by the Honda City and finally the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. But remember, it's been a neck-and-neck competition among the three models. In fact, they are quite similar in terms of engine performance, features, space and quality as well. We're going to be comparing the petrol variants of all these three models and are going to be telling you which one is the best in the C-segment sedan section. So while the Honda City and the Hyundai Verna have received updates, we are still waiting for the updated version of the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. That being said, however, the Ciaz has a very sleek silhouette and smooth flowing lines to give it a definite road presence and appeal. Amongst the three, the Ciaz as well is the longest and has a wheelbase of 4,490 millimeters. The Hyundai Verna is the latest amongst the lot, and Hyundai has done away with the curvy looks from the fluidic Verna and given the new Verna very executive and upmarket looks. Now, amongst the three, the Honda City is the most futuristic and looks way ahead of its time. In fact, the design and the styling of the City is very aerodynamic, very smooth, and it gives a very rich and premium appeal. The Honda City and the Ciaz both get 510 litres of boot space. However, the Hyundai Verna gets a 480 litre boot space, which is about 30 litres less cargo volume than both the Ciaz and the City. In terms of length, the City and the Verna have the same length at 4,440 millimeters, while the Ciaz gets a length of 4,490 millimeters. In terms of width as well, the Ciaz is the broadest amongst the lot. It is 1,730 millimeters wide. The Hyundai Verna is 1,729 millimeters wide, while the Honda City is 1,695 millimeters wide. In terms of height, the Honda City is the tallest with a height of 1,495 millimeters. The Maruti Suzuki Ciaz gets a height of 1,485 millimeters, while the Hyundai Verna has a height of 1,475 millimeters. Even in terms of wheelbase, the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz is the longest and has a wheelbase of 2,650 mm, while the Hyundai Verna and the Honda City have a wheelbase of 2,600 mm. Amongst the lot, the ground clearance as well is the best on the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, which gets a ground clearance of 170 mm, while the Honda City and the Hyundai Verna get a ground clearance of 165 mm. To look at, all three vehicles get healthy doses of chrome and in fact have very good on-road presence. The Maruti Suzuki Ciaz and the Hyundai Verna both come with projector headlamps up front. However, the Honda City gets a full LED headlamp setup. The Honda City also comes with LED fog lamps. The Honda City rides on 175 by 65 R17 tires, while the Hyundai Verna and the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz both ride on 195 by 55 R16 tires. I'm sitting inside the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz and it is a very stylish interior. However, in comparison to the Verna as well as the City, it does seem a little dated in here. However, the blend of beige and black along with these wooden trims do definitely give the Ciaz as well an upmarket feel, and the leather-wrapped steering wheel with steering mounted controls also gives it a plush feeling. Maruti offers all the basics on the Ciaz. So you have automatic climate control, you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Of course, with this touch setup, you get navigation and you can pair your smartphone with the infotainment system. You also have USB and aux inputs and a 12-volt power socket. You also get a front armrest. However, it's fixed and does not slide, and it does not open up to too much space. That being said, there are plenty of storage spaces, cubby holes around. There are bottle holders and glass holders in the doors as well. You have plenty of storage spaces. and a pretty spacious glove box as well. You also get a sunglass holder, cabin lights for the front as well as the rear with individual operations, and most of the basics like voice recognition, electrically adjustable and electrically retractable ORVMs as well on offer. Fit and finish and the build quality being offered in the Ciaz is impeccable. In fact, it's quite good and definitely at par with the Verna and the City. I'm sitting in the driver's seat and I have adequate bolstering on the sides and over here, and it's pretty comfortable. The driver POV is quite good and I can see clearly ahead of me. Plenty of lumbar support and plenty of back support as well. Maybe a little more required around this region, but plenty of back support, and I'm quite comfortable in this seat. So I'm sitting in the new Hyundai Verna and it is the latest model amongst the three. A lot of updates have gone into the Hyundai Verna and feels really good in here, feels quite contemporary and modern. The dash as well has been designed to face the driver. It's definitely fuller looking than the Ciaz, and plenty of knobs and buttons for you to play around with. You have automatic climate control, steering mounted controls, leather wrapped steering. You also get ventilated front seats, so that's an added function. In fact, you have a 12-volt power socket and two USB slots along with an aux slot. You also have an electric sunroof, which is also available in the Honda City. However, it is not available in the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. You also get cruise control as well in the Verna, along with other features such as voice recognition. Now, cruise control is not available on the Ciaz. You also have a more spacious center armrest in the Hyundai Verna, and you also get a cool glove box on offer, which is not available on the Ciaz or the Honda City. Plenty of cubby holes and storage spaces as well. The driver's seat, more bolstering on the sides over here than the Ciaz. Almost the same amount of bolstering on the sides, and it's a little more comfortable, especially thanks to the ventilated front seats. The Hyundai Verna also gets driver and passenger side airbags as well as curtain airbags. It comes with ABS, EBD, parking sensors, gear shift indicator, which is not available on the other two vehicles, and a rear parking camera, which is not available on the Ciaz. So amongst the three, I found the interiors of the Honda City to be the most futuristic. In fact, the layout of the dash is definitely ahead of its time. You also get a few features which are not there in the Verna or in the Ciaz, like a touch control setup for the air conditioning unit. You get some standard features which are of course there on the Ciaz and the Verna, like automatic climate control, push button start stop, voice recognition, electronically adjustable and retractable ORVMs. However, you also have a Wi-Fi router to browse the internet on this 7-inch infotainment setup. You also have a center armrest which opens up to probably the biggest amount of space amongst the three. A pretty roomy glove box. I definitely have to say the Hyundai Verna has the most roomy glove box. You have vanity mirror for the co-driver, not for the driver, so all three vehicles don't come with vanity mirrors for the drivers. Individual lights right here. You also have this frameless IRVM, which is an automatic IRVM. It definitely looks upmarket and chic. Leather wrapped steering wheel with steering mounted controls. Also, again, the HDMI port is available on the Honda City, which is not available on the Ciaz or the Verna. Now, sitting in these seats, I'm pretty comfortable. However, the bolstering is not as good as the Ciaz or as the Verna. That's over here. The side bolstering is good, and I am well ensconced in these seats. Good amount of back support and lumbar support. I would definitely have to say that I was the most comfortable while sitting in the Hyundai Verna, especially with the amount of support I was getting all around in those seats. Another added advantage the Hyundai Verna has over the City and the Ciaz is that it gets a clutch footrest, which is definitely something needed. Honda is the only manufacturer amongst the three which is providing a tilt and telescopic adjustment for the driver steering wheel. So definitely added points to Honda for providing this option. The design and layout of this dash is simply remarkable, and in fact, if that is a priority for you, then the Honda City is definitely the way to go, because the way the dash has been designed, its layout, the ergonomics of it all is really quite good. And even the steering wheel, I felt, is the most fun and sporty to hold amongst the three. Now I'm sitting in the second row of the Honda City, and it's a very roomy feeling in here. In fact, it's spacious. There is a lot of space to stretch my legs out. In fact, it's better than the Hyundai Verna. However, it's not as good as the Ciaz, and I'll tell you why. The bench is not as long, so under thigh support is not that great. If I'm sitting with my legs bent this way, then it is good. However, under thigh support again takes a hit. Back support is definitely good. There is a decent amount of headroom, and this is of course the tallest amongst the lot, so you have more headroom in the Honda City. Now, unlike the Ciaz and the Verna, the Honda City comes with two 12-volt power outlets, which is definitely handy to have, but it would have been better if you simply had two USB ports in the rear. You have similar provisions of rear AC vents, and you get individual lights for the second row occupants. You get ISOFIX mounts in the Honda City. However, there is no manual rear blind in the Honda City. You also have a foldable rear armrest with cup holder and bottle holder. The build quality and fit and finish on all three vehicles is quite impeccable. However, I found that the premium appeal in the Honda City is the best, and this combination of a black and beige theme is definitely appealing. Now, the back seat is not as spacious as the Ciaz. In fact, I feel a little cramped over here. Cannot stretch out as well as I could in the Ciaz. In fact, for me it's alright. My height is about 5'7", but for someone who is taller than probably 5'9", will feel a little cramped in this back seat. The bench in fact is a little lower, and the under thigh support is not as good as it was in the Ciaz. Thanks to these large windows and the sunroof as well, you have a very roomy feeling inside the back, and you're quite comfortable. The seat as well, you have plenty of lumbar support and shoulder support, a decent amount of headroom as well. A center armrest has been catered to with of course bottle holders and rear AC vents. Instead of the 12-volt power socket, you have a USB slot over here, which is definitely smart thinking and is more convenient and handy. However, when compared to the Ciaz, there is only a single light for the rear passengers, not individual lights as is there in the Ciaz. The Ciaz does not get a height adjustment for the rear headrests. However, in the Hyundai Verna it is adjustable. You also get manually operated rear blinds in the Verna as well. So I'm sitting in the rear seat of the Ciaz, and in fact I definitely need to tell you this is probably the most spacious amongst the three, and in fact gives the most roomy feeling amongst the three as well. Big, long and wide glasses lend a very roomy feeling inside the cabin. I have plenty of space to stretch out. In fact, the bench as well is nice and long, so I'm getting under thigh support, which is better than both the Verna as well as the Honda City. The back support as well is really great. You have rear AC vents as well and a 12-volt power socket. So all around it's a very nice and premium plush second row with comfort, which has definitely been catered to. You want to cruise on the highways and or while you're traveling in the city, definitely a very comfortable option in the Ciaz, and or while you're traveling in the city, definitely a very comfortable option in the Ciaz. To drive, the Hyundai Verna is really special. In fact, it has the biggest engine amongst all three of these C-segment sedans. This 1.6 litre VT petrol-powered 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine is a real treat. In fact, it's a naturally aspirated engine but feels extremely punchy because of the way it has been tuned. The engine puts out approximately 121 bhp at 6400 rpm and about 151 newton meters of torque at about 4850 rpm. In fact, from the word go, it's just really quick. It accelerates quite easily, and is quick through the paces. Sounds really nice, sounds refined as well. However, I found that the Honda City is a little more refined than the Hyundai Verna. The engine is a little smoother. However, this is definitely quicker, it's definitely more aggressive, it's definitely more punchy. So if speed is what rocks your boat, then the Hyundai Verna is probably the best bet for you. The difference between the Hyundai Verna and the Honda City is the way the revs build up. While in the Honda City it's a little more gradual and a little more linear, the Hyundai Verna feels a lot more punchy and a lot more aggressive, ready to go. And the Ciaz as well is pretty quick, but it's not as good as the City or the Verna. But power and performance is not everything. Performance can also be measured in terms of fuel efficiency, and this is the most efficient amongst the lot, producing fuel efficiency anywhere between 70 to 20 kilometers per liter, which is pretty impressive for a vehicle in the C segment sedan section. The fuel efficiency on the Honda City we found to be the poorest amongst the lot, and it stands anywhere between 15 to 17 kmpl if you're driving like a good boy. If you're gonna punch it and be zigzagging through traffic, or you're really zipping on the highways, don't expect a great fuel efficiency figure from the Honda City. The gearbox is smooth, but it's not really crisp. The engine is a high revving one, and the mid-range is where most of the power lies, and it revs freely all the way up till 6000 RPM, so that's a good thing. Now the engine has been mated to a 5-speed gearbox. In fact, this is probably the most smooth gearbox. It's very crisp amongst all three vehicles. The clutch as well on the Honda City is quite light. The steering on the Honda City has been weighted really well. It's lighter than the Ciaz for sure, but it's not as light as the Hyundai Verna. The steering on the Hyundai Verna is the lightest, and in fact it's probably the most sporty steering. Decent amount of feedback as well from the steering while you're driving in tight corners as well. You get a decent amount of feedback from the steering wheel, and it's really enjoyable. So if you're looking at a driver's car, then the Hyundai Verna and the Honda City are the top picks. The Honda City does not have the best turning circle radius. That is in fact in the Ciaz, which has a turning circle radius of 5.4 meters. The Hyundai Verna has the poorest turning circle radius of 5.2 meters, and the Honda City has a turning circle radius of 5.3 meters. To drive, I feel you have the best point of view in the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, a commanding position of the road and a clear visibility of all four corners with maximum visibility of the rear. However, it's not really that bad in the Hyundai Verna either. In fact, I have a good view of the road. It may not be a commanding position, but I definitely do have a good view of the road. Now in terms of the suspension tuning, I feel Hyundai has done a fabulous job, and it's slightly more comfortable in this cabin than the Ciaz and the Honda City. It rides over most undulations, most bumps and potholes pretty well. Quite comfortable in this cabin, and in fact even at high speeds, when you're taking those tight corners, there's a lot more control than the previous version of the Hyundai Verna, and it's a lot more planted to the road, so that gives you a lot of confidence as well. So the suspension on the Ciaz is mildly stiff, and it takes care of most of the undulations and bumps pretty easily. At high speeds as well, it's quite stable and planted. Now the suspension on the Honda City is not the best amongst the lot. It is on the softer side and gobbles up most of your undulations and bumps rather well, but it's still not the best. The noise and NVH levels as well is not the best on the Honda City. In fact, the growl from the engine definitely seeps into the cabin. Road noise is also evidently there. Wind as well. You can definitely hear the howl of the wind when you go a little faster. Braking performance I felt was the best in the Honda City, and the amount of control that I got as well while braking definitely felt better, and it was a little more confidence inspiring. than the other two competitors. Even the infotainment system in these three vehicles are pretty good and handy to use, but I found the system in the Hyundai Verna the best to use. In fact, it's really functional, really easy to operate. Even the one in the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz is pretty easy to use. That being said, however, I found the navigation setup in the Honda City much better than that of the Hyundai Verna or the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. So if you're looking for an all-rounder, well, then I would definitely recommend the Hyundai Verna. It's probably the best performing out of all three. There is, however, a close competition between the Honda City and the Hyundai Verna. The Honda City is a little linear in its acceleration. The Hyundai Verna feels a lot more punchy. In terms of features, the Hyundai Verna beats the other two fair and square because it gets some really nifty features that are a first in the segment and are not being offered by competition. However, even the Honda City gets some segment first features like Wi-Fi enabled internet browsing. The Hyundai Verna, on the other hand, gets a few features which I have mentioned, including ventilated front seats, which in our climate conditions can definitely prove to be handy. If you're looking for a smooth, silent, hassle-free sedan, well, I would definitely recommend the Honda City. The petrol motor is the most refined amongst the three. It's a real treat for petrol heads. If you're looking for a sedan that is friendly on the pocket and you want to be chauffeured around in and also gives great fuel efficiency and comes with just the right amount of features, then I would recommend the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. As for me, I would definitely have to choose the Hyundai Verna. It is, for me, the best amongst the three. It's got that punchy performance that I've been looking for. Even at high speeds, the vehicle is quite stable. The suspension feels really good. It takes care of most undulations and bumps pretty well. It's a very smooth ride. It comes with all the right bells and whistles that you would be looking for in a C-segment sedan and more. The only drawback I found on the Hyundai Verna was the space in the second row. It's not as comfortable as the Honda City or the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. I would say amongst the three, the benchmark would be the Ciaz. Well, that was it from our side. We hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it and subscribe to the Motown India channel for all the latest action. Thanks for watching and do stay tuned.